today I wanted to kind of take you guys through my process of deconstructing a song that I'm trying to learn, like a cover song, to make it loopable and do a looping performance of it. I use Ableton Live, which you use MIDI controllers to control, right, for the looping. So this video is kind of an extension off of one of my other videos on the basics of looping with Ableton. This is assuming that you have the project set up and you have some MIDI controllers to use with Ableton and loop. So if you haven't seen that video, check that out. I'll have the link for it. I'll just run through my gear that I have just to kind of give you an idea. Ableton Live, and then I'm using I'm using a couple MIDI controllers. So I have the Ableton Push 2 over here. This one's the APC 40, which is by Akai. And then also by Akai, I have the APC Mini here, which I don't use that much. A little bit, I might use it in this tutorial, I don't know. And then I also have a Stream Deck with some MIDI mappings on my Stream Deck. And I also have a video for that if you want to learn how to MIDI map your Stream Deck. I'll have a link for that as well. And then I have a Nectar Pacer foot controller on the floor, which is also a MIDI controller that I can control with my feet. And then I have a keyboard that I'm going to be using, and it has some MIDI functionality on it, but I'm not going to use that because I don't really use the MIDI functionality on this keyboard because I have all these. And then probably acoustic guitar and violin. So yeah, I'm learning this new song. It's called Human by Rag & Bone Man. And I just kind of wanted to take you through my process of what I do to kind of take a song and put my own spin on it, give it my own style, I guess, and how I would do it in a looping format. So because of copyright reasons, I won't play the whole song, but just for demonstration purposes, I'll probably get a couple parts here and there. If you haven't heard it, listen to Human by Rag & Bone Man, and just so you kind of have some ideas of the song, and then we'll kind of get into it. First things first, I want to talk about like the things that I look for when I'm listening to a song to do a cover of it. I usually listen to the song and then kind of make mental notes of anything that sticks out to me about the song. That way you can kind of have your own spin on the song. You're not copying every part of the song part for part perfectly like the original. It's giving you a lot of creative freedom to give it your own unique style. So something I've heard from other musicians, I guess, and I've kind of applied it to my own music is don't listen to the song too many times. Only listen to it a couple times so that you get the feel for the song. Of course, you have to know how it goes, but you don't want to listen to it so much to where you know every single part, note for note, or else you're going to just kind of accidentally copy the song. And so if you only listen to it a few times, make some mental notes of things that stand out to you that are like, oh, that sounds really cool. I want that in mine, because that's part of the song that makes it memorable to you. And so you want it to kind of reflect in your own version of that song too. So for this one, I know just off the top of my head from listening to it a little bit earlier today, the bass line is a really important part of the song. And there's some vocal parts as well that kind of add some cool color to the song. And another thing you can do too that makes it unique and kind of your own is to use different instruments in your loops. Like for me, violin is an instrument that I always put in my loops. And so I replace certain parts with violin. So automatically kind of gives it my own spin. So for example, let's go a few seconds into the song. So there's a bass line. Listen to this. Do-do-do, do-do-do. And so they have that kick, tambourine, clap on the 2 and the 4. So it's like kick, tambourine, and it's also like a clap or something. And so we can do that. And a lot of the loops that I do, I start with like a drum beat so that I can keep myself in time. So the other part is that bass line that's like do-do-do, do-do-do. And it kind of does that, but then it changes for the different chords. So when you're looking for a song to loop to, this is a good one, in my opinion, because it has just a couple chords. Let's see what key we're in. So this one's just in standard tuning, no capo or anything. So you got a B minor. Oh, actually, so it actually is not in standard tuning. This is actually like a half step higher or something. He detunes his guitar, but for me, with a higher voice, of course, I'm going to want to bump it up a few keys anyway. So we'll figure that out. So do-do-do, 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 do-do-do. And then he plays the B minor again. Do-do-do, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's the chord progression right there. And then the whole song repeats with those same chords. So that's why it's a good song for looping, because all you have to do is record those chords and then they can play on loop and then you can sing the whole song off of that. So you can add more parts to the song too. Like maybe we'll add some guitar for certain parts. We'll add some violin for certain parts. Ooh, I heard he does something like that in it. Ooh, that we could add maybe a couple harmonies on there. So that's like I was talking about at the beginning, that kind of mental note of like, okay, I like that ooh thing that he does. So that's something that I want in my loop too. So I'm going to play around for a minute. I got to learn this part. So I'm going to just kind of figure this out and then I'll get back to you. I just realized something when I was kind of going through and learning the song. Usually what I start doing when I'm learning a new loop is I go and I learn the vocal part and whichever instrument I'm going to be accompanying myself with and just practice that on its own first before I actually try to loop it, because that's just going to save you a lot of time with, fumbling around trying to remember what the chords are and stuff. So you want to kind of learn the song beforehand and then go in and start looping it. So for me right now, I'm kind of just learning the piano part and then I'm going to go in with my guitar and I'm going to practice singing it with the guitar too, so I have both. But I did notice that the chorus, some people got the real problem, some people out of luck. They kind of add this like I was talking about at the beginning, whereas in the verses they just have the B minor. Ooh. Maybe I'm foolish and maybe I'm blind. And then so they don't have that. So that's a point where you'd want to just kind of figure out on your own, like, do I want to have that in there? Do I not? So when I'm practicing, I just kind of try both ways and see which one I like better, because that kind of helps fill out the chorus. So maybe we don't want it in the whole song. It's a lot easier to just have one section of chords that repeats rather than having two different sections of chords. So I usually just try to make up my mind and just say, well, I'm going to add the A in there and it's just going to play through the whole song. Or I'm going to leave that A chord, that one. I'm going to just leave this part out for the whole song. So I'm going to try both ways when I'm practicing and just see which one I like better. Okay, so now I have my guitar. I was kind of exploring around with some ideas as far as like the rhythm and how it could work with the piano. And so I'm thinking for the piano part, it could just be like just holding out quarter notes, I guess is what that would be. And then maybe this guitar part could match the bass with that rhythm where it's like do-do-do, do-do-do. Something like that. So then it's kind of balancing with the bass, and it can add that same kind of rhythm. We'll see. Sometimes it's cool to kind of add it and have them be the same, but sometimes it's kind of cool to have them be different too, because then it kind of fills up the space, in between. So I'm going to put the beat down next, which if you listen to the beginning, it's just like a...
Maybe I'm foolish, maybe I'm blind.
Okay, so it's like a kick, tambourine, kick, tambourine, and I think I hear a clap in there too with the tambourine. So now let's go to the chorus and see if the beat changes.
Some people got the real problems. Some people out of love.
Okay, I hear the bass actually changed a little bit. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, or something like that. And then the chorus, it seemed like the drum kind of stayed the same. So maybe we could just add like some shaker just to fill in like a something like that, just to give it like a little bit more in the chorus. So let's try. So we have our, I'm going to try actually putting this together in a loop form now. And so then I go and kind of experiment with things a little bit. So let's figure out our tempo. I just tap tempo on the APC 40 or on the push. I got like 71, so I don't know. We can also just look it up too. 75. Okay. I notice I do that a lot. Sometimes when I'm first learning a song, I'm always like a little bit slower because I'm learning. So we'll go 75. So you set the BPM in Ableton. So we got 75 beats per minute. I just do it manually for every song. I just go in there and type it in. So let's start with that kick and tambourine. So then we're going to add our claps on there just to kind of fill that out a little bit. So I'm going to go over to my mic loops here. This is kind of like, I know my Ableton project is kind of a lot, and yours might look a little bit different because you set it up however it works for you. So for me, I'm going to go into one of my mic loops, which is actually just taking the audio straight from my vocal track here, as you can see where I'm talking, this track. So it's just pulling straight from there. So if you don't know how to set this up, like I said, I have a video on that, on how to do that. So okay. So now we have some claps, maybe some shaker. Too. Certain things might go a certain way when you're learning the song, and then you refine them and get faster, and you do things in different orders as you're more in the refinement stage and getting ready to actually perform it. So for the sake of just learning, I'm going to put the piano part down, and then I'll build everything else off of the piano. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put your blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Okay. Got no way to prove it, so maybe I'm lying. But I'm only human. Okay, got it. Awesome. I have no reverb on. We should probably have reverb because that always makes everything sound better. Don't put your blame on me. All right, let's do that bass part now. Alright, so there's our bass loop, so we have that. And one of the good things too about looping and doing this is like, it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be exactly like the song. In fact, it shouldn't. You should have, in my opinion anyways, I think it should be a little bit different, and you add your own elements. Maybe you change up the bass a little bit, or you change up just whatever, you know, make it your own. Okay, so let's try guitar. That sounds better. Harmony. chorus. And then I kind of explore around different other harmonies too. Yeah, I like the top harmony too. That'd be like the first third of the octave. Let's add violin. Kind of just helps fill out the chorus. You can kind of hear it in there. Maybe a lower violin part could be kind of cool too. Kind of start exploring ideas, and yeah, I mean, you can change it every time you play the song if you want to, which is kind of fun. So now we have a pretty much full loop, so then we can decide which parts we want to actually have for the verses and for the chorus. So that's where your MIDI controllers all come in handy, why you need so many MIDI controllers, so you can start and stop loops really easily. I'm gonna turn that down just a little so you can hear me better, but then I go in, I just keep a mental note of which parts, which buttons correspond to each loop, and I can look at Ableton for reference. I look at it and see, okay, these are violin tracks, these are all mic tracks. And which, I know I have a clap and I have a shaker somewhere in there, but I don't remember where, so that's kind of important to remember. Keep a mental note. Let's see. It wasn't those ones. I think that was the clap. Here's a clap. This one should be shaker. Okay. Pro tip, don't forget which loop is where. It's harder with the audio loops because they all have the same name. So I want the clap to be in the verse. I don't want the violins in the verse. So I'm gonna turn those off. And what I want the maybe all I have is just my bass and the drums. I think that's what I want, so then the chorus comes in, bam, with all the things, and it's like a lot bigger. But so this is where I start experimenting, and this is the part of the practice session where you actually practice performing it. You're practicing taking the parts in and out. And what I do a lot of the times is I duplicate certain loops. If I have more tracks on my MIDI controllers that I need to push buttons and start and stop on for the chorus and the verse, then sometimes I just duplicate a track onto the next scene. So see how we have drums, and I want the drums and the bass, I want those to be in the verse, and maybe guitar, maybe. I should probably have guitar in there, just so that it doesn't sound too empty in the verses. So what I like to do is I go through real quickly. This is actually better if you can remember to do it. If you have this practice and rehearse in your mind, you can go in and duplicate them as you're recording them. It's way faster. Duplicate the tracks you want in your verse. So now they're automatically separated. Now these are separated on 2 tracks, and all you have to do is press one button to switch between your verse and your chorus. So here's our chorus. Some people got the real problems, right? And then here's our verse. This is our chorus, or our verse now. So in one button press, I just went from one scene to the next, as you can see there. So now we try actually putting it together. Maybe I'm foolish and maybe I'm blind, and I can see through this and see what's behind. Got no way to prove it, so maybe I'm lying. But I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put your blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Maybe add another thing in here. Take a look in the mirror. What do you see? Get it clearer. Are you deceived in what you believe? 'Cause I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Here comes a chorus, and so we launch scene one. Some people got the real problems. Some people out of love. Some people think I can solve them. Lord heavens above. But I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. And then verse 2. Don't ask my opinion. Don't ask me to lie. Okay, here's a situation where you might want to actually play around with the arrangement of the song if you're in a loop, because you want to make it loop friendly. You want to try to make it as musical as possible in your loop. So sometimes you have to cut out a bridge. That's fine. Replace it with a solo instead. That's what I do usually, or just get creative, whatever, you think. I think a solo is always good if you aren't able to put the bridge in there. That's usually what I do. Or if I don't know, just get creative. You can start actually recording harmonies for things. You could record yourself singing the chorus and then add an extra harmony layer on top of that or something like that. Oh, another thing that's really fun is to take, strip down everything and all you have left is piano. Some people got the real problems, and get really quiet or something. And then you can end it, and then you can end on piano or something. That's probably what I'll do. I like that. So yeah, then maybe you could add a solo or whatever. So then this part of the loop learning process is just going through and trying to make those creative decisions of do I want to leave this part in? Do I want to play? How many choruses do I want to sing? And a lot of that stuff just you decide in the moment too, depending on what's going on around you. If you're playing to a crowd, if they're really feeling it, then just keep going or whatever. So you can change it up. And yeah, so this is the part where I just start kind of playing around with it. And once I feel like I have it pretty much figured out, then I go through and I practice building that loop up so many times until I have every part memorized, and I can just start recording things really fast. So that's kind of the point where I decide that I'm done with practicing that song. And sometimes it takes a few days. It depends on how difficult the song is or how many parts I have to memorize. And it depends on how fast I memorize it that day or whatever. And so I might practice for today and say, okay, this is enough for today, and then come back to it tomorrow or something. But yeah, so now at this point, I think I'm just going to work on that. Just deleting everything, starting over from scratch, and do that over and over until it's all good, seamless, and quick, and really well memorized. I wanted to try to record this as I was learning a song so that anything that comes up in my mind I could try to explain, or any problems that I come across. So I hope I covered everything. If you have any questions on the process, or maybe you noticed something I left out or something like that, let me know. You can leave me a comment and tell me what you think. If you like or don't like this video, let me know. It's all helpful for future videos. So I hope the ultimate goal is that this could help you with looping. So with Ableton anyways. I know it's a lot different for different looping styles like foot pedals and stuff, but yeah, this is how I do it in Ableton. So hopefully it helps you. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions about anything. All my socials are in the description box if you want to follow my socials. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube here for more tutorials and cover songs, originals. I post a lot of different stuff, some review type of videos. I do music videos where I record loops and performance type, and then also tutorials. So yeah, check it out and let me know if there's any other future tutorials you would like to see. I would love to know. And with that, I will see you in the next one, or I'll see you on a live stream sometime. All right, bye guys. But I'm only human.